Let's go! Or should I say, let's bro! Ahmad Breaux, along with Kolaj Cobbins, commits to LSU. Prospects that love to rush the passer in the class of 2024. So comment down below today. I'm going to show you both of their junior highlight tapes. Which prospect do you like more? I love that rip move and then take on the running back and get a big sack. Obviously, these two actually faced off against each other in the state championship game this past year. And I know a lot of you, we have a ton of North Louisiana viewers, are really excited that a North Louisiana prospect has committed to LSU, and this young man is from Ruston. Kolaj is from Destrehan. So we're going to talk about both of them today. And once again, down below, feel free to correct me on pronunciations for both of them. Now, the first thing I'll say here is LSU is doing a great job of getting some Louisiana guys on board. And there's a narrative floating around about the 2024 cycle in Louisiana because there's no elite skill guys when it comes to running back and or wide receiver and or quarterback like there was this last cycle. A lot of people are a little bit down on the state of Louisiana, and for me, I just don't see it that way. Once again, we are early in Louisiana right now, but man, there are some guys mixed in here that I feel can really play, and LSU was able to get two of them. Now, obviously, Ahmad Breaux is not an extremely highly rated prospect. Right now, he is only tabbed as a 3-star. But one thing I do like about him is that he did play all of the defensive line positions for Ruston. And he is currently getting NFL-level coaching with Kyle Williams, the former LSU defensive tackle, as his defensive coordinator. So, that's obviously very good things. And actually, I just got done doing a deep evaluation of the Ruston defensive line because on this channel, we just did our final grade on Lance Hurd. So, I watched Lance's game versus Ruston, and it was actually pretty good versus his loaded defensive line. There are some really good players that Breaux has had alongside him. But the truth is, Breaux does jump out. Now, what's very interesting about him is he does do something somewhat unorthodox for present-day defensive linemen. Bam! I'm looking at you. Yes, you. Right now, there's so many different ways you could support PHL with a donation, a super thanks, and what I want you to look at here is all the Ruston defensive linemen line up in what's called a 4-point stance, which means both hands are on the ground and both feet are on the ground. Now, more often you see an edge player line up in a 3-point stance, which means only one hand is on the ground. And sometimes, depending on if the player is going to play something called a jack, you'll see them in a 2-point stance, which means no hands on the ground. So, will Ahmad Breaux be forced to transition to a 3-point stance? Not necessarily. He could still play a 4-point at the Division I college level, but more than likely he's going to have to play some in a 3-point and potentially as a 2-point guy as well. But the guy has so much strength. You see him rush from an interior defensive tackle position quite a bit. And like I said, he does play all the positions up front. Now, you won't at the next level, but you do see him play all the different positions. He very well could be what Savion Jones plays now for LSU, what Ali Gay plays now for LSU, which is a strong side defensive end, or what some people call a 4-eye technique. Once again, it just depends on the alignment. I do think that's where LSU is going to view him. He's not a traditional nose where he is lined up here, but I do like seeing him take on the double team and just destroy this play. I do think he is going to play what Ali Gay played for LSU and where Savion Jones is more than likely going to start this next year. And that honestly is a position of need. LSU brought in a bunch of transfers to fill that position going in to next year. And honestly, this last crop, they really didn't bring in a ton of interior defensive linemen. Now, what I will say to counter that is there are a ton of very good linemen in Louisiana this year that play on the interior. So, look, this is him going up against the young man Johnson, who I think is committed to Colorado. I think that is him. This guy does flash. But honestly, I don't do too deep of a tape evaluation. I normally wait for some senior tape to come out to see how much a prospect has changed. But one thing I do want to include that's just away from the game of football here with Breaux is this guy, once he was given the LSU offer, he immediately decommitted from Duke, where he was previous, and committed to LSU like the same day. This all happened in the last 48 hours. And I've also spoken to him in Twitter DMs as well. We're trying to get him on the show because I am a big believer, and he's not undersized per se, but I do like 3-star defensive lineman from Louisiana getting to live there. So now let's talk about Kolaj Cobbins, okay? This is a really fun watch. You see him return a blocked punt for a touchdown in the background. First thing that is very interesting, if you are a jersey number snob like myself, normally big-time defensive players, no matter where they play, they don't wear like traditional numbers that NFL players wear. So I do like Breaux wearing the number 93, and then, of course, Cobbins wearing number 56. There's not many linebackers that are big-time blue chippers that wear a number in the 50s. So just something kind of strange to point out. I like watching this young man play. So the first thing that just jumps out to me is how fast and instinctual this guy just jumps off, right? So this is something that LSU did a lot of. They would move their best pass rusher head up over the center, and this would be Harold Perkins right here, and this caused Hades for the interior of the defensive line. You don't know if they're coming. You don't know if they'll back out. And the good thing about backing out there is you either are coming hot through the A-gap or your quarterback spying like you did right there. And then the ball skills to rip the football out is amazing. And that's something that just really jumps out to me as well, is you see Cobbins make a lot of plays where he is stripping the football. So, especially when you compare him with Breaux, and once again, I know I said I wasn't going to do a whole lot of just film breakdown. Remember last time he backed out? Now this time he's actually, look at how well he just times this snap right here. Boom. You see he's hitting full speed right there through the A-gap. Guard's supposed to block down and pick him up, or the running back is actually supposed to pick him up. This is just a nightmare, and not only do you get the sack, you push them backwards as well. Now, once again, they'll give you forward progress. But, you just can't play that any better. So, obviously, this is a historic program, Destrehan with Justin Jefferson, the whole Jeffersons, Glenn Logan as well. So, Destrehan does produce just animals each and every year. The one thing that's very interesting about Cobbins is you do see him play some interior linebacker, but at the Division I level, he is only going to play one position, and that is the standing jack outside linebacker. I don't really see him as a traditional off-ball linebacker outside of, your normal blitzing situations, but this is what he is built to do. And this right here is just amazing athleticism. I love when I see a prospect, once again, this is just a little thing, see him jump up in the air to block the passing angle. Obviously, you don't want to leave your feet too often, but this is just insane to, in midair, still able to bring this guy down and then just pop right back up like he does. Just look at that. And now watch it in full speed. I mean, this is just really, really, really impressive athleticism. Okay? I know he was unblocked off the edge, but that's just really good stuff, blowing that up. So, you see him occasionally in a three-point stance, as you see right here on this goal line. But overall, he is going to be a two-point stance, B.J. Ojulari role type of player. So, obviously, as you could tell, I've talked about him on live streams quite a bit lately. He's a guy in 2024 I just enjoy watching. And he is a guy that was going to be pursued by everyone because he is a 4-star. And just depending on which recruiting ranking service you consume, you're looking at his recruiting ranking. Unlike Breaux, this is a 4-star who is up there. He's not an elite 4-star, not a top 100 4-star. I do think he has slid a little bit, but as you can see, he is still a top 200, top 250 guy. So why is there some concern with some of these recruiting evaluators? Well, it's pretty simple. He's light. He does look small-ish. He is only 204. Which is what LSU weighed him in at this past week. For me, weight in the SEC does matter. There's just so much data that backs it up, more so at running back and maybe a few other positions, but you can't play the standing jack linebacker at 200, right? That is closer to a corner's weight than it is a Division I edge's weight, which is why I always say you can't really take too much away from a junior's tape unless it is truly spectacular. And this tape is very good. Don't get it twisted. You see him, getting a good interior move right there. But honestly, he does need to fill out that frame. But if he is a true 6'3", which I believe that he is, this past weekend LSU measured all the prospects. Just looking at him, you could tell the frame can be filled out quite a bit. But the weight will need to be added, and sometimes that's just simple physics, right? So, if you go to a different conference, weight doesn't matter as much. I've only done like a deep dive at the running back position showing that weight truly does matter in the SEC, but I do believe it wouldn't be too much different for edge prospects. Here's a good example of this. B.J. Ojulari, when he got to LSU, was I believe 215, and LSU weighed him at 250 at the end of his career. Now, I do want to pull up his combine measurement to see if that actually is accurate, but that's the biggest thing with Cobbins going into next year. But he is someone that excites me quite a bit. I do think he can give you some good special teams reps as well, but you're bringing him in to be that one position. Now, obviously, I love positional versatility. I do. But I will also say the jack linebacker is an important position in the Matt House scheme. Matt House has had 2 good years as a defensive coordinator throughout his career. In both of those years, 2022 LSU and 2018 Kentucky, he had a dog play that position. In 2018, he had Josh Allen, who is still in the NFL and was a first-round pick. And obviously this past year, he had B.J. Ojulari mixed with Harold Perkins play that role. It's very critical to play that edge role because you got to do everything, as you've seen Cobbins do. Touchdown saving tackles, dropping back into coverage. You really haven't seen a whole lot of coverage plays here. But, you got to play the zone read. You got to get after the quarterback. Right here, you see some good hands on special teams. I'm glad that he included that on the onside kick. So you do see a complete athlete here with very active hands, very good ball skills. And I do think if the proper weight is added, this is going to be a big-time player for LSU down the road. But once again, this is just a junior tape. We'll see what he can add to his game as a senior. Bah! Looking at you. Yes, you, right now. So, I'm going to give you my final thoughts here. I've spent a lot of time, actually today, looking at the 2024 crop, and then we'll get into more spring football stuff. It's going to be a lot more current team kind of things, but I wanted to get a lay of the land, especially after having big-time quarterback Colin Hurley on the channel last week. The video is going to be floating in your face in just a second if you want to see an interview where this guy breaks down film unlike any other 16-year-old quarterback you're going to see. It was such a treat, and obviously he is the leader for the 2024 crop along with some other really good players. So, what is my major pluses and minuses with where LSU is right now? Well, the first thing you always look at is the state of Louisiana, and right now this crop looks as if the defensive side of the football is where most of the talent lies. Of course, Trey Green is the number one player ranked in the state of Louisiana. He is a tight end, but mostly defensive players make up the best players in the state. So obviously LSU is going to focus in on getting as many of those guys signed. Where the issue lies is going to be offensive line in this cycle because there's not even a single offensive lineman ranked by the 247 composite in the state of Louisiana. So I think that's where LSU is going to spend a good bit of its focus, is getting some offensive linemen signed up and ready to go, and potentially commit before the season begins from out of state. Also, just in general, I do feel LSU needs to focus its services, its recruiting on the elite of the elite guys, okay? Don't spend too much time recruiting some 3-star from out of state or some middle tier 4-star from out of state that you kind of like and you think you can see them becoming something, because it's just not worth it. Spend your time recruiting the elite top 125 guys. So obviously the elitist guy that is showing some love to LSU is Colin Simmons, a 5-star pass rusher out of Texas. But outside of that, really get after some of these other elite guys for 2024, because honestly, with the transfer portal being the way that it is, you can replace a lot via that, where you know those guys are going to be good. The swings and misses you want to take are the next level elite recruit guys. So that's where I would spend my resources, okay? So comment down below. And once again, if you are going to spend a lot of time on a 3-star, make it be an in-state 3-star, or somebody that has heavy LSU ties, because you don't want to waste your time just for a guy to not even last a year. So comment down below your thoughts on today's video, and yeah, let's do it. Let's go. It is Power Hour LSU. Bam! And tonight, I think we're doing some ribs. Let's go.